are gold and blue, born in 1872, the greatest team in the world. We are known as we follow on. We are the people through and through, the gold and blue since.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome to Bold and Blue 1872, your Glasgow Rangers podcast. My name is Chris. As always, I am here to entertain you, and it's a frosty Sunday morning here in Dublin. We are the day after a game against Livy, and you might have noticed I'm joined by someone new. This is a good friend of mine, Ewan, a good teddy bear, obviously. Ewan, how's things, mate? How you getting on?
Yeah, not too bad. Just about recovered from yesterday's performance. I think that's all I could say.
Yeah, did you get out after the game, or were you just into the game and away again?
Just in the game and away again. Wasn't much of a day for hanging around in Glasgow. Bitterly cold, and after that performance, just really wanted to get up the road and get a bit of heat into my bones and reflect on the game, really.
Yeah, I did have the luxury of watching it from the comfort of my home, which I was very happy with. I mean, obviously, I'm not in the country anymore, so I don't get the games. I'm a bit jealous, but I don't think I was that jealous yesterday, to be quite honest with you. But let's get into it. I mean, Livy at Ibrox. I don't know. Let's talk about the lineup first and foremost. I mean, obviously, there's some injury issues that we were carrying into the game. So we kick off with Butland in goal, Magoma, De Giga, Manny Fernandez gets a rear start, Tavernier. We've got Dio and Raskin in midfield, Fellow and Ant-Man, Gassama and Danny. Yeah, did you have any concerns seeing that lineup, Ewan? I mean, obviously those injuries were playing a part. There was some key individuals that have been doing not too bad recently that were missing. Obviously, Cornelius, Mikey Moore wasn't there either. Soapy, obviously, although Soapy not too sure he's been doing that well recently anyway. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the lineup, mate?
Yeah, just instantly that central defensive partnership really concerned me. I think it's a position that we haven't really managed to strengthen and bolster in recent years, and losing two first choice centre backs pretty much straight off the bat during the international break was a real concern for me right from the start.
Yeah, I did. I was excited to see Fernandez. I obviously we've paid a few quid for Manny, and we've definitely not seen enough of him. Apparently, he was injured for a while. I mean, whether you believe that or not, but I was excited to see the big man. But about 10 seconds into the game, we kick off, and Manny makes his first touch is kind of atrocious, for lack of a better word, and he kind of puts Butland under pressure at the back. So straight away, I'm like, oh no, come on, yeah. So yeah, I was worried about that as well. I mean, De Giga for me is I'm on record already saying a number of times that De Giga, I'd like to see the back of him. I don't think he's really. He maybe had a couple of decent games at the start, but since then he's not done well at all. But yeah, the rest of the team. I mean, Ant-Man coming back in, Danny starting up top. Don't know. Yeah. I was optimistic about seeing some more of these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there was good reason and there was justification for it. I think you've seen in flashes at the start of the season what both Ant-Man and Gassman are capable of. Again, maybe another concern for me was Danilo up front, pretty much on his own in that number 9. I definitely feel he needs another striker alongside him to get the best out of him. Ant-Man, bit of a question mark more recently as well, but deserves an opportunity to go and see what he's all about. So yeah, I don't think Mioski has warranted a starting place from his recent performances as well, but I think that two up front, if you're going to start Danilo, is the way to go forward. And you obviously seen in the later parts of the game, Mioski coming on and supporting him up there.
Yeah, Danny's not an out-and-out 9, is he? He just isn't. I don't think we've seen any evidence of that since he's been at the club. So
No,
yeah,
no.
it was a bit of a concern, and it kind of transpired that way. But anyway, I'm optimistic about Manny. He has that horrendous first touch at the start of the game, but we're only a few minutes into the game. We get to the 9th minute. Here, puts quite a decent corner in by standards anyway. Fernandez just cracking header, wasn't it? I mean that for me was one of the main reasons we bought that lad. Do you know what I mean? His aerial abilities are off the chart. So it's a lovely goal. What do you make of it?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I may disagree with you with Fernandez, if I'm honest with you, though. I think watching the match, he won every ball in the air. Maybe not surprising given his height, but you need to be more than a big, tall lad to play at the back for Rangers for me. I think on the ball, as far as composure is concerned, he's far too lackadaisical, far too relaxed. That hasn't really shown for me any real ability as far as distribution is concerned either. I think he will win those balls in the air all day, which maybe is more than can be said from some centre backs, a particular Dutch centre back that played for us last season. But to be a centre back at Rangers, you need to be more than that for me.
I don't know, mate. I think we're going to disagree on this one. I thought he had a pretty decent game yesterday, considering he's kind of coming in from the cold, and there's been a lot of publicity about why he's not been playing, and obviously the price tag. A lot of talk about the posh fans from down south couldn't understand why we'd paid that money for him. All this kind of stuff, all this negative press around him.
I understand. Yeah. I'm in that camp.
No, yeah, I hear you, mate. I don't. I think again, I'm on record as saying in the past, I think Farewell's probably signed him because of that one good game he had against Everton and in the cup for Peterborough down south. So I don't think he's been signed based on much more than that. But I genuinely thought. Well, I mean, we'll go on. We'll talk about the game in more detail, but I don't think he put, apart from maybe that first touch, and you're right, maybe there was a couple of lapses in concentration. I tell you what, I mean, compared to De Giga, he's miles ahead of him. And was he any worse than what Soapy would have been? I'm not sure. You know?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think the big man, I think Souttar's always got a mistake in him most games for me, at least one anyway. And the deciding factor is whether it's a goal scoring opportunity or not. That always hope that it's only one mistake, but there's sometimes more than that. But yeah, can't disagree with your point regarding Giga. How he has managed to move to a club for £10 million is beyond me. That's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
I think he basically one good kind of Europa League run, and he's been signed off the back of that by Wolves, and he's not kicked a ball for them, and they've shipped him out to us. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's easy to get carried away with a price tag. Do you know what I mean? But he's just not got it at all. His concentration levels are appalling. He keeps getting. See that? I mean, we'll get to this in a second as well. Well, we might as well talk about it. Big Yengi. Who, in my opinion, seems to be the Australian version of what we were expecting to get with Chermiti. But Big Yengi pops up on the 18th minute. How many times have we seen this now? Whether it's over the top, on the ground, just that one simple ball right through, just slices right through our entire defence. De Giga is awful, just caught off guard completely again, just no concentration whatsoever. I mean, could you blame Fernandez as well? You could, but I think he was De Giga's man. But you know, it's a decent ball through, but we shouldn't be getting sliced open like that. And the big Yengi lad sticks a toe on it, and it kind of just slides past Butland without much challenge. So
far too easy.
Disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah. I mean, I think that Route 1 ball is schoolboy stuff for me. And as a centre half, that's the first thing that you get taught to defend is a route one ball through the middle. You should have the positional sense to either sit off your man and give him a bit of space and attack the ball, or you should at least be able to match him and match his run in a foot race and put a foot in and be able to get. But the fact he made the space between two central defenders and a route one ball was able to result in a goal. It's this season all over the back for me.
We've been saying it for years, mate.
Yeah.
It's been going on for years. It just doesn't. It seems like something where, I mean, we'll talk about. I want to touch on the new set piece coach. I'm not sure if that kind of really aligns directly with this, but hopefully, in terms of some of the goals that we concede with some of these balls coming in, he might help with that. But yeah, it's just a recurring theme, and I'm so sick of it. Do you know? It's just. I mean, I think if I recall, mate, from when we were kids, you used to play centre half, didn't you?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah. As a boy, yeah.
Yeah, this is basic stuff, do you know? And it just seems as if all the defenders that we have at the club can't get their head round just basic fucking defending. It's brutal, man.
Yeah, we've never been able to lock down decent centre halves for at least 2, 3, 4 seasons. I actually thought when Russell Martin came in, being a former centre half himself, we would have been able to sign some quality players, knowing the position, knowing how it needs to be played. The less said about that guy, the better, probably. But at the same time, we've still continually, season after season, not signed top quality centre halves. And looking across the city, they've managed. Okay, there's been a couple that haven't been as good as others, but championship winning teams are built on a solid defence, and we've not had a solid defence for years. I can understand from a fullback position, you've got fullbacks aren't the kind of way that they were when you and I were younger, far more attacking positionally. But if you're going to allow your fullbacks to push on, you need to be able to rely on your centre halves. And at the moment, and for the past few seasons, as you said, we've just not been able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to remember the last centre half that was half decent, to be honest with you.
Everyone berated Connor Goldson, but yeah, there was a time during the 55 season that he was untouchable. I think that for me is probably the last time I can remember someone playing a season solidly at centre half and being dependable and playing most of the games. You're going back probably a while before that to be able to think of anyone that was anywhere decent. So yeah, it needs to be something in January that they look at for me, and definitely in the summer again. Cornelius has been decent. I think him and Suter are your first pick central defensive partnership. Still leaky, still kind of learning their way around each other. And obviously Cornelius is on loan. So yeah, needs to be investment in that centre half position in January for me.
Yeah, Cornelius for me, I think is standing out because he's just better than the dross that we've got, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Is he decent? I think he is. I mean, there's question marks already about is he going to be a long-term concern with his fitness? If we take that option up to buy him, I'm hearing it's about 4 million. Which he's missed a bunch of games. He's injured again right now. I'm not sure he's going to be worth that punt. But honestly, I mean, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, man. I was one of Goldie's biggest critics. Helander for me, I mean, obviously Helander had his fitness issues, but he's the last. I mean, and we paid about 4.5 million, Gerard, forked out for him as well. So him for me was the last decent centre half that we've had, and then obviously that with his fitness, that kind of didn't transpire. Maybe you're right in terms of consistency. Goldson for that season was far more consistent. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure plenty of the fans would have Goldie back in a second right now.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for.
I know. But yeah, it's definitely a concern, and it's the rest of the game for the first half is just. I don't know, it's just horrible to watch, we've got so much possession, but we're just not threatening them at all. It's just, and let's be candid here. We're talking about Livy the majority of their squad, you're lucky if the cost of the players is a few million. Do you know what I mean? I did this earlier on in the season when we played Livy. I remember their average salary for a week was like 39 grand or something like that, which is Tab's salary basically, right?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're just struggling to break them down. And I didn't even feel as if they were kind of applying a low block. Martindale doesn't typically take that approach either. Yeah, they were defending deep, and obviously we had a lot of possession, but they weren't throwing every man behind the ball, and they had an outlet that was constantly there as well that they were looking to exploit. I just don't know, man. First half for me was after that goal.
Yeah,
There wasn't much, was there?
No. I mean, at one point I did count along the Livy back line, and it was only in a fleeting moment, but they actually had 6 defenders lined up at one point when we were attacking, and I could see what we were trying to do at points and move them around a little bit and create space. But the ball wasn't moving fast enough. The players weren't moving fast enough. It was slow. It was laboured. If you're going to try and play that game and shuffle things around, the ball needs to move far, far quicker than it was yesterday. And it wasn't zipping, it wasn't flying. There was nothing at all whatsoever. So by the time that we were trying to break their defence down and play that decisive pass, they'd already made moves into the position that we were trying to create. So yeah, question marks for me still. But again, try not to be too critical on Roll because he's been left with, let's be honest, a terrible squad from Russell Martin. But it is 3 points. So yeah, it's 4 wins in a row. We're slowly moving up the table. We're still there or thereabouts, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, let's hope come the turn of the year that things are looking up and the second half of the season's a wee bit more positive.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got the second half of the game to talk about as well, but it was more of the same. I mean, we'll get to Dio's goal, but I do want to talk about the half-time changes, or the half-time change that was made. Fellow Asgard gets hooked at half-time again.
Non-existent first half for me. Didn't do anything.
Worst player in the park, mate. Worst player in the park. Did nothing. And I'm seriously getting concerned about that. I fully believe that we signed that lad thinking that this was going to be one of our someone that we could shift on for a big profit. You know what I mean? Someone that trading model that's been. I mean, we might actually touch on the financial accounts that were made public a couple of days ago. But a big part of those discussions with those accounts was all about the trading model, which has been the case for the last few years now. But so nothing new. I fully expect that he was one of those lads that was brought in, and he's just been shocking. He's had one good game against Dundee United, and he keeps getting played as well.
No, I'm not seeing it much myself. I think that the game that he cancelled out, Callum McGregor, was at least a decent performance in a very, very negative game. But he wasn't bought to be a defensive midfielder. He's playing obviously far further up the pitch. Did yesterday as well. But yeah, yet to see it. I'm really not seeing it. And is it again? Thelwell strikes again, underestimating the Scottish League, thinking that when someone plays in a lesser division in England, he's just going to come up here and walk it. Don't know. But looking at the other signings that we've made this season, it wouldn't be surprised if that's been his thinking.
He is a Norwegian international, and he's playing decent for them. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely just think that the pressure of the shirt on him. He's one of these players that just. You can see he's got some technical ability, but his vision is terrible. He just seems frantic when he's on the ball. Just wants to. It's almost he wants too long in the ball sometimes, and then other times he just wants to give it to someone, just to get it away from him as quickly as possible.
Full of nice touches, end product not so good.
Yeah. So I mean, he gets hooked at half time. Mioski comes on, so at least we've got that. Danny kind of playing off at Mioski up front, which I think was better. Miovski does a lot of running about in the second half. Doesn't offer much, but he's shown some effort. But I don't know. I've been disappointed by him as well. I mean, I was expecting out of all the signings we made in the summer, Fellow was someone just the way that he was being bigged up. This Norwegian international. I've mentioned in other videos, he's part of this Norwegian Golden Six, they're called in it, which is obviously includes players like Haaland and stuff like that, right? So he was someone I was really optimistic about. Mioski, based on what he'd done at Aberdeen, I wanted us to sign him back when he was at Aberdeen.
Yeah.
He obviously moves off to Girona and then flops over there, to be quite candid. And we get him for a cut price. So I'm actually thinking we probably paid 4 or 5 million less than we would have paid if we got him from Aberdeen. So, but he's running about, but just not much coming from him in the second half either. I mean, I don't want to be overly negative. I mean, like you said, a win's a win, but again, we'll get to Dio's goal in a minute. But this second half was just nothing. It was just a terrible watch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can only assume you were at the game, do you know what I mean? You'd be freezing your ass off. Do you know what I mean? It was.
I don't know if it was worth getting out the freezing cold for. But yeah. One thing I would add to it, and I know obviously maybe kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but the only person that actually injected any kind of energy into the game in the second half was when Nadeem Bayrami came on. Looked lively, looked active, looked as if he was trying to make things happen. Okay, some of the things that he tried didn't quite work out, but the rest of the team just weren't at it at all whatsoever. So yeah, I thoroughly agree with your perception about the game was like. It wasn't any different from where I was sitting.
Yeah, I thought Bajrami actually changed the game, mate. I mean, was it evident? It didn't stick out like a sore thumb, but I think he made a difference. I know I've obviously touched on. I thought that Manny was having a decent game. Outside of Manny, I didn't really think there was anyone up until Bajrami came on. And I know we talked before we came on here. You and I think you said that Raskin for you was played quite well. I know he got man of the match as well. I don't. Maybe it's my expectations are asking. I didn't think he did enough again, and I feel like I don't know if he's got one eye out the club already, but
I mean,
on you go,
all I was going to add was, and I mentioned to you before we come on air, I think as fans, we just need to enjoy this guy while he's here. He's a class act for me. What I think is that there's maybe too many supporters expecting him to do too many good things. If you look at the way that he plays with the Belgian national team, he's not expected to create things. He breaks things down and he passes to the likes of De Bruyne to make things happen. I think when he plays for us, he's expected to be a bit more of the creator, but in the way that he breaks things down, he's kind of short passing, the way his vision of the game to be in the right place at the right time to break things up is world class for me. And I don't know whether he's going to be here in January. I don't know whether he's going to be here at the end of the season. I just feel we need to enjoy him while he's here.
Yeah, but I don't think we've seen enough of him this season, mate. I think obviously that stuff that happened to him and Martin, and again, like you said earlier on, we don't need to revisit that that period. But he came back in that game after he came back into the squad after whatever happened with him and Martin. That game that he played, who was that again? Sorry, his first game back, he was outstanding. And then after that, I don't know where his head's at. I'm not seeing it, mate. I didn't think he was. I thought he was decent yesterday, but again, maybe it is just my expectations of him. But I thought him and Dio in the middle of the park. I've heard some people saying that Dio played decent as well. For me, I thought Dio was pretty shocking. But Barron and Cameron come on later on in the game. I mean, it's after the 90th minute, but Barron for me is, from what he's shown us this season, and that kid. I mean, I'll get. Let's talk about Dio's goal first and foremost, right? Because there isn't much more to talk about in the second half, but I do want to talk about some of those guys that were on the bench that in my opinion should probably are warranting a position in the first team at the moment. So yeah, there's a through ball, Dio. I'm astounded personally that this was called offside. I could see it a mile away. It was a mile onside.
Yeah.
It gets chopped off, and VAR takes a few minutes to deliberate over something that's as clear as day.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, they're going to screw us again here. But yeah, eventually Dio's goal. VAR brings Dio's goal back, and it gets counted. So yeah, but what did you make of his goal, mate?
Fantastic ball through by Tav. We've seen
Yeah.
time and again the vision and delivery that he has. The timing of the runs, both by Mioski and Diamante, were exceptional. We maybe didn't touch on in the first half Gassama having a similar opportunity where he could have checked his run and stayed onside, the one that was chopped off. But need to kind of tip my cap to the timing of the runs by both Mioski and Dio. Also noticed Mioski obviously nicked it before the keeper got there. He had an opportunity kind of similar to that earlier on in the second half where he managed to beat the defender to the ball as well. So he's obviously got that predator instinct to be and hunger to get to the ball. And then it was just a simple tap in. But yeah, all credit to Tav and all credit to the two guys for timing their runs perfectly. But yeah, what was that linesman all about? Crazy, crazy.
Yeah, it must have been a good yard on side. Do you know what I mean? It was so obvious. It's a good shout as well, by the way. I mean, Mioski for me is he kind of thrives off of those through balls, right? And we don't seem to be giving them that outlet, and that's I think that. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that Mioski's not exactly set the world alight, but I think that's a big factor in it. We've signed him to do a job that he's good at, and we're not supplying him with the goods. Do you know what I mean?
No. Well, Aberdeen, he ran the channels. He was always he was looking for those balls and inside forward positions. We just don't play like that, or we're not playing like that at the moment. And I think that's affecting Mioski's effectiveness. He likes those balls pretty much exactly as the second goal was yesterday. That those balls between the centre halves and the full backs, and he thrives off it, as you said. So either we need to adapt to him or he needs to adapt to us because it's just not working for me at the moment.
How much of it is? I did mention earlier on. I didn't think Livy was. They weren't out and out low block, but I mean they were. I mean, obviously they were on the back foot most of the game, purely from a possession perspective. But how much of that? How much of Mioski not getting those opportunities is because of that different challenge that he wouldn't have necessarily faced when he was at Aberdeen? Do you know what I mean? That he would have had a lot more opportunities to get those through balls and run in behind. Maybe that maybe it will never work in Scotland for Rangers. Maybe in Europe, I don't know, but don't know.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, you know what it's like. Every team sets out their stall against us in the SPL, apart from the other side of the city. Also, they do it at times as well, right enough. But at the same time, it's always going to be you're always going to come up against a defensively minded team. On the rare occasion, there will be teams that will have a goal. But yeah, we need to have the answers, and we need to be able to unlock those doors and create opportunities. And there just weren't enough of them yesterday for me.
I did touch on earlier on. I was, a couple of the guys that came off the bench. So I mean, Barron and Cameron come on later on. Barron comes on for Dio. Cameron comes on for was it Gassama? Ant-Man, obviously, we touched on Bajrami, made a difference in my opinion. Fellow Asgard's getting a game. Ant-Man's getting a game. We've got players like Barron and Cameron and Bajrami sitting there. It's. I mean, I know you said earlier on. I've mentioned in other videos before. Like for me, Danny Rowe is not bulletproof. I know he's got a lot of credit in the bank because of the challenges that he's come into, and we should give him a chance. I'm not for 1 second saying that we shouldn't, but how much like you can also. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there that are saying that Farewell's picking the team and all this kind of stuff.
Hope not.
I hope not as well. But I mean, fellow Asgard keep getting a game. Ant-Man, I want to see Ant-Man do well, more so than I do fellow Asgard at this point. Obviously, we want to see all of them doing well, but I feel that Ant-Man's got more of a I made a comment on the chat yesterday, you, and you'll probably relate to this. Ant-Man reminds me of one of those boys at school that thought they were gallus. Do you know what I mean? They used to tap dance in front of you a couple of times before they would run with the ball and then do nothing.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know. I mean, why is Barron has been getting some game time, but why is Cameron not getting a game? Why is Bajrami not getting a game? I mean, last season, Badji was shocking, fair enough. Every time I've seen Bajrami this season, when he's been given limited opportunities, I think he's done quite well. Don't know what you think of that, mate, but...
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think getting back to Ant-Man, I've seen a couple of instances yesterday that he just had a complete lack of heart. I personally don't think he's got the attitude or personality to succeed at a club like Rangers. I think from a technical ability point of view, again, going back to his earlier games, he looked very, very good technically. He seemed to have been played in a far wider position. I think you're starting to see him drift inside rather than stay out in the wings now, which I don't think is the right way that a winger or a wide forward should be playing.
Yeah.
But the big question mark for me is his heart. There was a couple of opportunities that there was a 50-50 ball that he didn't put his body into. There was an opportunity for him to go up and challenge in the air that he refused to do as well. And again, you can't do that at a club the size of Rangers. You need to be shown 100% and fighting for that jersey. And he's just not got that personality or heart for me, unfortunately. So I agree with you completely. I wouldn't be playing him. I would even be giving young Finlay Curtis a chance on the wing as well. He's looked very positive any time that he's come on. And Bayrami's an Albanian international. Do you know what I mean? He's no mug. And I think, yeah, particularly on yesterday's performance, I would hope that on Thursday night you maybe see him starting.
Albanian talisman. He's not even just an international. He's their key man, isn't he? But yeah, I don't know what it is with Ant-Man. I don't know what I thought I was getting. I was expecting a byline winger, and he just runs into traffic every time he gets that ball. He's just. I mean, Tav. I noticed Tav was balling at him on a number of occasions because he wasn't making those runs. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Barron very, very positive this season. Cameron, when he came on, late stages in the game, couple of heavy touches. But I think, thinking back to when I saw him last season playing us at Ibrox, it was a standout man. I can understand why we've signed him. But hasn't really been given an opportunity. Has looked bright when he's come on, but it's difficult in that kind of 10 position where I think he seems to thrive. I don't know if he's ready for a starting slot, but yeah, should probably have been given more minutes up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, Barron, Cameron, Fraser, Bajrami. I do want to be cautious about how I approach role, but I don't know. Some of these guys should be getting a game for me ahead of some of these other players, but
yeah, no, can't argue.
Yeah. I mean, we roll on, don't we? I mean, like you said earlier, and like I think a lot of people have been stressing this. It's another win. It's 4 wins on a bounce for Danny Rowe in the SPFL. Can we complain about that? No. But a fractionally better team, and when you also take into account, I'm of the opinion that Levy should have had a penalty yesterday as well. With Manny Fernandez's handball. I've got a lot of time for Martindale. I like listening to him. It's very rare that you see him being so animated after a game like that. He was visibly upset that they didn't get that call, and rightfully so. I've seen it back a number of times. It was a stone waller for me.
When you count that the penalty opportunity for the handball and the save that Butland made, we could be sitting here quite easily looking at a 2-2 or a potential 3-2 to Levy, and that's the thing probably that concerns me the most.
Yeah, bottom of the league Levy. That, like I said earlier on, I mean the squads are night and day. Why are we struggling with these Ibrox as well, mate? Do you know what I mean? It's
it's challenging. But as you say, 3 points in the bag. We move on. Win ugly, I think, was the term that Rowe used. I'm okay with that. teams again, thinking about teams that win championships learn to win ugly, and I don't think we're in a position to put ourselves in that title race yet. We're still out the running at this moment in time, but if we can string together a solid run between now and the turn of the year, then we've at least done far better than what we did at the start of the year, that's for sure.
So Raskin was your man of the match, or did you agree
Yeah.
with RTV? Yeah.
Yeah, 100% for me. Just class all over the back. Just can see why he's thriving in that position for Belgium, but he needs far better quality than Diamandi for me in that centre midfield position. Needs someone. Diamandi's the styler player potentially, someone that has the creativity, someone that can see those passes, the through balls, is comfortable with the ball at his feet. But yeah, just really not good enough at this moment in time for me. But yeah, Raskin for me, standout man yesterday.
Yeah, I struggled with it. I really struggled to give anyone credit yesterday. Could argue with Raskin, I suppose not. But it was marginal. It does pose a concern. I mean, we move on to Braga next week, and you know we've still got the same injury concerns. I believe Moore's out until next season. Sorry, the start of next year. Cornelius is out for a bit. We touched on this earlier on, Soapy as well. So none of those guys will be back for the game against Braga. So we quite possibly would be looking at a very similar lineup against Braga as well. So I don't have much hope for it. I'm on record previously of saying that maybe we should just forget about Europe this season and try and concentrate on other potential trophies that we've got still available. Obviously, the league is looking a bit of a challenge with the Scottish Cup is there. But I don't know, mate. I mean, this game against Braga, are you looking forward to it? Do you put much emphasis on it? I mean, is it just
No, I mean,
Thursday nights are different right now, aren't they?
yeah, it's not what we've came to expect in recent years. I think, harking back to Gerrard's time, the lift of being in that Europa League and going on successful runs both under him and also Van Bronckhorst, obviously as well, were what lightened us up. We were obviously still struggling in the league at that point as well, but those Thursday nights under the lights are very special. But we've not seen that this season at all. Obviously, we're in a different structure as far as the Europa League's concerned now as well compared to those times. But to be sitting rock bottom of that league and facing a Braga team who will come to Ibrox expecting to get a win will be difficult. I think that the only difference that you might see on Thursday night is a team that will come and attack. Obviously, Livy didn't do that yesterday. Sat behind the ball for a sustained period during the game, and you would hope that we could weather the storm. We've obviously not shown that in Europe so far this season, but it will create gaps for our guys to go and exploit. But you are missing the likes of that spark from Mikey Moore, or you will potentially, I think, miss the spark from the likes of Mikey Moore and being able to move forward. Obviously, been a breath of fresh air under Roll since he came in, given that freedom to go and express himself. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath on Thursday night. I think for me personally, getting 3 points would be absolutely fantastic, but even a draw at this stage would be good, which is quite disappointing given our recent years in Europe.
Yeah, Moore's a big loss for me. I mean, how many times I've slaughtered that boy, and then since Danny Rose came in, I think he's been a revelation. He's when I heard yesterday, I think the day before yesterday, that he was out until the turn of the new year. That was a far bigger hit than Soapy being out for me. Cornelius, obviously, with the fact that Cornelius was out, we were going to have to resort to the likes of De Giga, etc. But Moore for me is a massive miss. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of there's a bit of apathy kicked in when it comes to the Europa right now for me, because I mean, is there? We've got Ludogorets and we've got Ferranvos before we play Porto. Even if we beat Ludogorets and Ferranvos, because I don't have much confidence we'll get past Braga even at home. I definitely don't have much confidence we'll beat Porto. I think the Porto game's away, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, even if we do beat Fernandes and Ludogorets, I mean the prospect of going through to the playoffs is 0 to none. So I don't know, mate.
I think you're spot on. I think we need to write it off. I think it's whether there is a chance to win domestic cups, we'll wait and see. But the focus for me has to be the league, because without them you don't get into Europe. I think Roll on Friday during his press conference mentioned that. But yeah, while there's a chance to win a domestic cup, then I think our efforts need to go into that. Obviously financially, you'd mentioned earlier on about the likes of the financial statements and some of the things that revealed as far as revenue is concerned. But do what we can, but I definitely wouldn't be putting our eggs in that basket the way that we have previously as far as Europe's concerned.
Yeah, well, let's touch on that. So the accounts came out a couple of days ago there. Did show that our operating profits were up. Operating revenues were up. Cash in the bank was up. A lot of people quite optimistic in terms of those numbers. I had a very different opinion of it. I do come from the finance world, and it didn't take for me a rocket scientist to look at how we closed the books in June compared to what we've done since then. I think that we've potentially increased our salary expenditure exponentially with some of those players that we've brought in. There is apparently a net 20 million spend on the players that we brought in, including the loans and all that kind of stuff. The lack of potential European revenue that will come from win bonuses, progression, even the diminished attendances at some of the European games that we've seen this year. The fact that there's very little potential for us to have any domestic success at the moment. I mean, that obviously we hope that will change, and even some of the lower attendances at games when it comes to people buying pies and ball rolls and all that kind of stuff. For me, it doesn't. I can only foresee next year's books being a hell of a lot more negative. So yeah, I don't know if you had any thoughts on it, Ewan, but look, from a fiscal calendar perspective, fine, moving in the right direction. I feel that we've taken maybe 4 or 5 steps back with the damage that's been done since then.
Yeah, no, can't argue with that at all whatsoever. I think obviously slightly encouraging, as you say, seeing the revenues go up. The one thing that did concern me was the amount of money that you're seeing that was paid to Patrick Stewart during that time as well.
Yeah,
I think the guy is a wage thief. I have absolutely no time for him at all whatsoever. I don't know what he's supposedly doing to earn his wage there. I think it was reported to June he was picking up almost £250,000.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that needs to be focused on. The transfers and things like that speak for themselves. You could potentially argue with Stewart, a man in that position, a CEO of a top British club, should be demanding that kind of salary. But for me, there's no evidence that he's actually earned that kind of money. So yeah, I can't argue with the slightly negative overall opinion that you have of those accounts. We'll obviously, as a club, put as much of a positive spin on it as what we can. Being propped up by the Americans' money, I think, is the best way of describing it to me, or for me describing it, should I say. But at the same time, yeah, you would hope with Rolls' positive impact to date that we start to see the likes of those match day revenues go up. You would like to think that potentially we can start to look at how the transfer market might benefit us in the coming year. But I'm not seeing much potential in that player trading model that, as you mentioned previously, was stressed throughout the tone of the release of the accounts. So yeah, it's hunkered down. I think that's about as best as what we could hope for. But Rowe will need money in January. Of that, there's no doubt. And what is actually going to be available in January is always a question mark. It's never the best time of the year to try and sign players, but the guy will find himself under pressure. And I think you can only start to look at how you rate Rowe and what your opinion of him is once he's got at least a January window under his belt and hopefully a summer window under his belt as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you take into account, let's say we close the books with 30 million quid in the bank, basically. If you take that net 20, because I've heard a lot of people saying, well, what about the Agamani and the Jeffy sales and the Dessa? All of that's accounted for because that's accounted in the books and it depreciates every year that their contract goes down. So it's not as if you can throw that in there. That net 20 is basically coming straight off of that 30 million that's in the bank. So we're probably sitting at about 10 million in the bank right now. And then you've got, like you said, what are we going to do in January? There's a very good chance we'll have no money in that bank. And again, it will come down to, like you said, a cash injection from the Americans again, and some of the other shareholders, obviously. But how much are they willing to do? You can only have faith or hope that the Americans don't want to lose too much credibility here coming in and fucking this up as badly as they have so far. But it's not just Stuart. I mean, Stuart, you're talking to, I think it was 245 grand a year, wasn't it? Something like that. More than he was getting at Man United, which I'd seen something about that as well. But then you've got Farewell, Purdy, Farewell's son. I'm going to touch on a couple of other appointments that have been announced this week as well that have come in under Farewell. A new operations director is still being advertised at the moment. All these different, a bunch of scouts that we brought in. Some of them, again, Purdy's boys, Everton, Wolves, former Jobs for the Boys efforts, in my opinion, with Farewell. All of this adds up. I mean, probably a good few million quid a year in salaries that we've added to the wage bill on non-playing staff that we didn't have last year. Again, it's like the books might look good last year. I'm just worried about what they'll look like next year. But I suppose time will tell. And to your point, who's the assets? I mean, who are we? I mean, Raskin aside, who are we? I don't know who's a valuable asset that we've got right now. I've heard people talk about Dio. Don't know if he's going to sell for much, to be honest with you. But
no, agreed. I think that there'll always be speculation around Raskin's position. I was actually really surprised that we kept a hold of him this season, but he is your main asset. I think figures of kind of 10, 15 million pound wouldn't seem ridiculous for someone like me, but you don't want to rely on that. But the rest of them, perfectly honest with you, I don't really see much. I don't see much interest in them, and I don't see much value in them as far as the transfer market is concerned at this moment in time. So, yeah, more cash needed from somewhere, because you can't bring in Rowe, and I'm sure he'll be under some kind of agreement with the board that he'll get cash in January to go and put his own stamp on the team and try and kind of shape things the way that he sees fit. And at the moment, he's inherited a bang average squad that cost us far too much money.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I really do, because there's no assurances they're going to spend in January. I mean, we could be, and it's a notoriously hard window to shop in as well. Do you know what I mean? So, we'll see. But there was news this week, so don't know how you feel about this one. I mean, it is something that's been a problem for us for a number of years now. Set piece coach has been brought in, Scott Fry. Not coming from the highest of levels, coming from Lincoln down in League One in England. However, when you look behind the curtain here, the numbers that he's been producing, or Lincoln have been producing from a set piece perspective, both offensively and defensively, are by far, I mean, it's not even close, by far the best in the UK. So, I mean, as critical as I've been of Farewell in the past, for me personally, that this appointment looks like. I will touch on the model at Lincoln in a second and get your thoughts on it, Ewan. But in terms of the man Scott Fry, and in terms of how Lincoln have progressed with their set piece numbers over the course of the last year, I mean, what did you make of that? Do you think it was something we needed? I think.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
think.
hard to argue we didn't, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I think as far as set pieces are concerned, we've really been struggling for a long time, as you mentioned, both offensively and defensively. You saw, I think, was it maybe earlier on this year, or perhaps maybe even last season, that it was just continual outswinging corners. And I also, sure, I either heard or read a stat yesterday that a third of all goals come from set pieces. So if you can factor in a third additional goals by one appointment, then
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic piece of business. And I think that the modern game requires specialists all over the park. And if this guy has the record that you mentioned, unfortunately, I've not had a chance to look at that and be aware of that and type of information. But again, thinking of the club with the stature and size of Europe and the competitions that we're involved in, yeah, to me, it's a good appointment. And if the guy's got proven credibility, then I think it's a fantastic piece of business for me.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers to hand, but they've got the lowest conceded goals from set pieces in the UK. So that's all leagues in the UK, and they've got the highest amount of goals offensively in the UK. I think it was like 30 goals or something like that they scored from set pieces. It's crazy. I could be off on that, but it's not far off that. The one thing I would draw attention to on it is I mean, I don't know how this works, but I need to do some more research on it. Apparently, this Scott Fry or even the Lincoln model was making some sort of use of artificial intelligence to dictate how they would do their set piece play. I mean that's where we're at. Yeah, why not? Do you know what I mean? That's where we're at now, isn't it? It just seems to be taking over everything. But I suppose it makes sense, right? I mean, if AI can analyze player positions all over the park in a split second, and you're utilizing that data to make decisions about how you should be setting yourself up and all that kind of stuff. I need to look at. I don't know if it's Scott Fry that is. I mean, we brought in Scott Fry. Will he implement the same model? I'm not sure, but it does sound like it's Lincoln's model that's been working. It's not necessarily this coach. So that would be my only call out. Maybe, hopefully, it's one and the same. I don't know. But,
yeah. If it was anything to do with Fernandez's goal yesterday, then he's already earned his bacon. So yeah, you'd hope there's more of them to come.
Well, AI didn't put an extra foot on Fernandez when he was on, so I'm not sure about that one. That boy is some size, man.
Yeah.
Other appointment. So John Hunter Barrett. This was actually announced a number of weeks ago by Rangers Review, so it wasn't anything new. I think it was Chris Jack, might have been Josh Barrett that broke the news on this, but this one I'm less optimistic about. Another former Felwell acquaintance, John Hunter Barrett, has been working with the youth team down at Wills for a number of years, and he will be coming in as director of our youth academy. Apparently, he's starting early January. He's not actually in place yet, but no record whatsoever, and no recollection personally of Wolves being great at producing youth players over a number of years. So this I'm sorry, just stinks to me again of another jobs for the boys farewell appointment, which I don't know. I've never had a chance to speak to you in detail about farewell. I'm actually I'm going to have you've met Danny before, you and I think Liverpool Scouse boy. I think he'll be joining me on the pod in the next week or so. I want to get his opinion on farewell. Obviously, being an Evertonian fan with Purdy, Chermiti and stuff, I want to talk to him about as well. But this farewell continues to just seem to have free will over these appointments that don't make sense. Don't know. I don't know if you've had much chance to look into this, lad, but it just doesn't seem to have a very good track record of producing youth players, which is something we should really be, in my opinion, heavily focused on. But
yeah, Yeah, particularly that player trading model you mentioned. I think you're starting to really see the power that Kevin Thelwell holds at Rangers, and for me, he holds far too much power. He's making decisions all over the place. I think he'd quoted yesterday as saying that there wasn't one Rangers player signing that the manager didn't green light. I don't know what green lighting counts as, whether it's just that the guy wants to keep his job because Stewart and Thelwell hold enough power to get rid of the manager if they so please. But yeah, that it really concerns me that he's in that position to not only dictate the players that we'll sign, but also the structure that goes on at the back of the football club. Frightening, absolutely frightening, particularly given his track record so far. So don't know much about the guy. I haven't really looked into him. As you said, Wolves not really for me, well known for that conveyor belt of young talent. I'm not sure what Stephen Smith's position will be in the club now if this guy comes in. I think there was obviously a signal during Danny Rowe's press conference on Friday that Stephen Smith will move into a position more aligned with the first team as well and be that link to the academy as well. But it would concern me if this guy comes in, has his own ideas, and that puts Stephen Smith's position under threat as far as the youth academy is concerned. Probably just to go off piste a little bit, but I thought Smith during the time that he was in that position before Rowe came in was very, very confident, spoke very, very well, is obviously a Rangers man through and through, knows the club inside out, and I would like to see guys like that given more power rather than external advisors or staff that are brought in under Thelwell, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so yeah, he is formally part of the first team coaching staff now. He's been temporarily promoted, I believe. So you're right. It could be a concern about long term what that means if he ends up getting bumped down again.
Yeah,
I need to be. I'm nothing against Smith. I think I totally agree with you. I think he did really well. Held a good account of himself when he had that opportunity recently. Did I see Smith as the kind of guy that will I mean, I'm speculating here, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that might be speaking up when things need to be said. And that coaching backroom stuff, I'm not sure. I've said previously I thought Neil McCann was probably my pick. I just don't know if Stevie Smith comes with the right kind of aura that I was expecting. Am I disappointed with it? Not really. I just maybe I was expecting someone with a bit more of a reputation at Rangers. I mean, Stevie Smith did a good job for us. You're right, Rangers man through and through. Probably an underrated left back, to be quite honest with you. I think he was better than people give him credit for. He was playing at a time where there was just better left backs that were playing ahead of him. But I don't know. Dare I say, I feel like that's a bit of a cop out that Danny Rowe had kind of committed to bringing in that former player with connections to the club, and this is where they've landed. I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed with it, but I'm not overly objecting to it, you know.
Yeah, I think just harking back to the link with the youth team, I think it's great. Smith will have an awareness of the academy and the players and the potential that's within there. But it means absolutely nothing if the guys aren't going to actually get a chance. And getting back to your earlier point on the likes of Cameron and Finlay Curtis that have been left to rot essentially on the bench, it's poor as far as opportunities are concerned, unless they are just going to be brought in with a view to being sold rather than played.
Yeah, but I mean, we've spunked 8 million up against a wall when it comes to Clement. Who's to say you couldn't sell Finlay Curtis for 20 million quid if he starts getting a game? Do you know what I mean? Just because we spent big money on some of these other players, it does reek to me. I don't know. It reeks to me that there is something underlining going on when it comes to Thelwell. I'm not saying picking the team, but maybe there's a remit that this is the model. You're going to have to try and get these players game time to kind of showcase their abilities so that we can sell them on, etc. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I did one last thing I wanted to touch on, you mate. Philip Clement has been appointed as the new manager of Norwich. He did all the best to PC, by the way. I think I was very much one of those people that wanted shorter PC towards the end. I thought he made too many mistakes and, a couple of results that were unforgivable that we will not talk about. But I think he definitely was dealt a hard, things could have been certainly a lot better behind the scenes in terms of his period at the club. But that being said, he did mention yesterday, and I just want to get your thoughts on this so we can close off. PC mentioned yesterday that he tried to sign Kenny McLean for Rangers, and it fell through. Not sure what the ins and outs of what that was. We'd all heard Kenny McLean was potentially Rangers bound for the last couple of seasons. It feels like that rumour that's never went away. But now, in retrospect, looking at where we are as a club and that role that McLean plays in the team, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what could have been maybe if McLean had made that move. A diehard Rangers boy. I think just hearing PC confirm that could have been a possibility. In retrospect, now I'm like, just stings a bit, But
No, I mean, I think, as you say, there's no secret that Kenny McLean's been a diehard Rangers fan for most of his life, as could be said of a certain Hearts centre forward as well. At a moment in time, that seemed to drag on. So good that Clement's come out and kind of cleared the air with it and confirmed what were rumours at the time as being true. Do I think he would have made a massive difference at Ibrox? I'm not so sure. I think when I see him in a Scotland shirt, he looks like he's a nearly man. I think you could correct that with his performance and his goal during the week to send us to the World Cup, or put the icing on the cake as far as sending us to the World Cup's concerned. But for me, potentially for the money that Kenny McLean would have cost, I don't know whether there was any numbers mentioned in the rumours. He would have been talking at least £1 million or a couple of £1 million for me. Would I have signed him personally? Maybe. I think you need Rangers men at the club. You need guys that know what the team and the club is all about. As far as impact and ability is concerned, could have potentially done a job. But as far as any kind of resale value is concerned, particularly when you're talking about that player trading model, it was evident, I think, as well, while Clement was there, that we were openly advertising ourselves potentially as being a selling club. We needed to bring in young players and sell them on at profit. You saw that obviously with Raskin and Diamandi coming in during his tenure. But at the same time, would he have done a job for us for a season or two? I think that's I don't think that's in question. I think he probably would have. Again, harking back to a certain Hearts centre forward that would have potentially done that as well. Good luck to Kenny McLean. I think he's always been a grafter. I think I saw during the week him scoring a similar goal from either inside his own half or just into the opponent's second half for St Mirren as well, in a similar position. And I think anyone that knows Kenny McLean or has spoken to him according to the press obviously speaks very highly of him as well. So could have been a positive influence, especially for young players too. So it's maybe just a question of what might have been, but as you say, also good luck to Philip Clement. I think I'm in agreement with you. Latterly, I think everyone agreed that he shouldn't have been at the club very much longer. Was better than what we brought in after him, right enough. But at the same time, credit to him when he first came in and been putting us in that position, turning the club round, and also getting us to the potential for winning that league, which obviously slipped through our fingers too. So good luck to the guy. I had a lot of time for him. Watched him being interviewed during an audience with Graham Souness and also Jack Butland at the SEC Armadillo while we were flying high during that season 2, and came across really well, very positive. I questioned his temperament at Rangers. I thought he kind of lost it. Bottle crashed and just didn't really have the minerals for me. But good luck to him. Maybe not so much pressure at Norwich, and I hope he does well.
Yeah, no, yeah, I couldn't disagree. Not a word you've said there I disagree with. Totally questioned his mentality at some point. Some of the stuff he used to come out with in those pressers, when he was standing up and demonstrating how people were taking free kicks and all that. Anyway, again, another period we'd like to forget. But yeah, I do wish him all the best. I think he was dealt a bad hand. There's no doubt about that. So what could have been, who knows? But yeah, I did hear as well. I mean, I don't want to rabble on, but I heard Cortez might be getting sent back from his loan at who's he with in the second division in Spain? Is it? That's how good they are. But yeah, I mean that's another one that will go down in infamy with PC's reign at the club. Obviously up to Coppin probably, but some good signings by Coppin, but that Cortez one seems to be biting us right in the arse right now. Not that some of the signings we've made recently would be any better, so I'm not sure. Yeah, listen, Ewan, it's been a pleasure. I hope we'll have you back on again, and this will be one of many. The Bold & Blue 1872 family is growing. I have some other individuals that have been in contact recently as well that I'm keen to bring on. So always good to have different perspectives and different opinions. Ewan, you've been a friend of mine. I do refer to you as a brother from another mother, mate, so I do appreciate it. We've been friends for a long time, but the one thing I've always said, me and you disagree with just about everything, so those difference of opinions
not everything today, just a few things.
just a few things, yeah. But it's always makes for interesting debate, so I do appreciate it. If you'd like to say your goodbyes, mate, again, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Great to be on, and yeah, hope to discuss things again in the future.
Thanks, Ewan. This is Bold & Blue 1872. As always, I do mention, if you think the pod was pish, don't hit that like button. But if you did enjoy it and you're just forgetting to like and subscribe, it does help the algorithm. So please do so. Until next time, this is Bold & Blue 1872. I am Chris, and this is Ewan. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
We are gold and blue, born in 1872, the greatest team in the world. We are known as we follow on. We are the people through and through, the bold and blue since 1872. With our hearts on fire, we rise to the call. Through the highs and lows, we'll never fall.